My fans backwards. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come here first to quench your thirst. I'm Brooke, and I am passionate about pop culture, and I have become passionate about Challenge All-Stars 5. Yay! You did it!
It only took half a goddamn season.
That's way less time than it takes for me to get invested in a flagship season nowadays. But hey, we'll take the win.
Fair.
Sorry for missing last week, you all. We had some scheduling issues, but we're going to make up for that by giving you a double dose of Challenge All-Stars this week. So we're going to be covering episodes 7 and 8, not just 7, because we want to make it up to you. Keep it back on time. So I'm also drinking a Coke from our lovely friends at Sheets. Thank you, Sheets. But if it wasn't already in a prepackaged cup, I would be drinking it out of my cup mug. Cup mug. Panel full of cup mugs. I don't have lights, but cup mugs. That cup mugs.
I have them in the back, and I just haven't installed them.
Same. But you and yours can get your cup mug and all of our other fabulous cup merch over at longcreations.etsy.com. That link is in the description down below. It's in the ticker currently scrolling your screen. And we do ship domestically in North America and internationally, so there are no excuses unless, you have a valid excuse, of which, of course, there are some excuses.
And hello. My name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel. And to be honest with you, it is too late for this to be this boring. So thank God we actually have some goddamn strategy and conflict today, because
Yay!
it only took us 6 episodes.
Half the season.
12 total episodes in order for anything interesting to happen.
Yeah, so I wasn't here for our coverage of episode 6. I gotta say, episode 6, really great. Thank you, Veronica. That's my girl. But the season started ratcheting up in the drama, and then episode 7 said, "Oh, you want more? Okay, keeps going up a lift hill." So have we officially hit the drop yet? I don't know, but until we do, we're gonna keep talking about it. So let's get right into it, shall we, Jack?
Yeah, we shall. I don't know what the hell I was about to say.
Well, you know what? We're here. We're doing our thing. So we start episode 7. We're going in. We just lost Big T and Corey, or should I say Lana's draft team just lost Big T and Corey. Actually, I think I had Big T and Corey. That's a lie. But
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's you.
Yeah, that's me. They were my third pick. Yep. Besides the point. So we're going into episode 7. And the question everybody's throwing around the house is, who is they? Who is they? Who is the person making these political moves, or the people? Because they. I mean, as a they them myself, but
as theys.
Theys. Who is they? And you get a bunch of theories. We get Veronica is they. You get Amber is they, and it just keeps bouncing around to a bunch of different people, and then everybody's kind of just deflecting. I'm not they. I'm not the one who put this plan into motion to get Ashley and Daria thrown in. No, not at all. This is crazy talk here. And it kind of boils down to the fact that everyone doesn't know except the 2 people who did it, which were Frank and Veronica.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just a lot of he said, she said, and everyone got confused because no one was actually ready for people to make moves. So basically they just hijacked and took a situation and said, yeah, no, this is what we're doing now. And everyone went, oh.
And I mean, I respect them for that, because somebody had to do it. When in a world where Adam and Steve win a challenge and you can't just throw them in for a 5th time, you have to do something. So, also, thank you, Adam and Steve, for winning, so I didn't have to be subjected to do an elimination for a 5th time this season. Thank you so much. And again, you never know. But
You really do never know.
never know. But we go in and people are strategizing, and we get a nice amount of Devon and Shane content here. Yay! Where Devon's talking about like she's become really close with Nani this season and Amber. So Devon is working with Amber and Fessy and Nani and Turbo. And then Shane has been really close with Veronica for years. So he's working with Katie and Veronica and Adam and Steve, and by extension, Nicole. And then Frank and Sam are now part of this group. So it's a very large group of people. And then Melissa's also, there. Not no shade to Melissa. She's just not included in this alliance whatsoever.
Yeah.
But she's only there because Melissa and because Nicole's friends with Adam and Steve. That's all it is. So we have these two really big groups of people, and then Ashley and Dario are just here.
Yeah. I mean, that is genuinely how it is. It's just like, yeah, they're existing, and the only reason they are relevant to this point is they have a star.
I mean, they are still in the house at this point. Like
Yes.
they are doing their thing. They haven't. I mean, just won an elimination. Like they have a star. They're doing well. They're just not really connected to anybody, especially because it seems like a lot of the reason why is because Dario was willing to sell his good friend Leroy down the road super fast to get him out of the house, and nobody really trusts Dario anymore. So we'll see how well that pays off for Dario. But importantly, Shane and Devon are both like, well, I mean, we're playing the middle between these two alliances. We're not going to try to get our hands dirty because we know no matter which side wins, we're safe, theoretically. So we're just going to sit back and let this happen. And in the moment, I'm like, okay, so this is where Shane decides he's going to be extra.
Yep.
Because
it's just like, yeah, no, we need to just sit back and do nothing. Oh, what's that? Do everything? Okay.
We'll talk about what Shane does in a little bit. After our next challenge, which is called Blow Your Mind, this was a cool concept. I don't think I've seen them do anything like this before.
This is 100% a challenge that, unfortunately, I think I would just be able to break by the time of just, yeah, I've hosted orgs before. I know what time zones are. Like, the entire conceit of this challenge is just, do you know how to do time zone math?
Jack, can we break the fourth wall for a little bit real quick? Jack and I have experience in computing puzzles in a very quick amount of time together.
Yes. We
would eat this up. Yeah, we won an entire online game against, what was it, 12 teams total?
12 teams total. All about literally just completing escape rooms. I don't know why they let us play. I think we got 3 of the 4 top times.
We won first in 3 of the rounds.
We won first in 3 of the 4 preliminary rounds, and then destroyed the other teams in the final round. And honestly, the most we struggled was with that final round because we didn't communicate super properly. But
and we still won by like 20 minutes.
We still won. We still were the only team to get out within an hour. So simply put, we would destroy this because this is nothing.
But this challenge is actually really cool. I really like the idea behind it.
Yes.
So there's these big lanes, think like a track, like the way the lanes are laid out. And they're mirrored, so that way each individual lane is flipped, so you can't just like look at somebody else's puzzle board. Both partners have start on each end of the field with 3 sets of puzzle keys in front of them, aka answers, not like literal keys. Both members are going to memorize the information that's on the board in front of them, and then at one point, one member of the team on either side of the field has to press down a plunger, right? Like TNT plunger. And when they do, it lights the paper on fire on both sides of the field. So they can't look at the answers anymore. And then they have to go through the frame and then move on to the next answer key. Now, when I heard that, I'm like, okay, this reminds me of that one challenge on Survivor I'm specifically thinking of the version they did in One World where they have like the line of items and you pull the lever to drop the curtain. Like that was the energy I was getting from this. Only it was a lot cooler because fire is innately a cool thing to look at.
Yeah, no, I mean, inherently, this was just cooler than pull a rod and a curtain drops.
Yeah, exactly. So then once you've gotten through all three of the puzzle boards, you have this big puzzle, which is not really a puzzle. It's more of, this is the time in Los Angeles. Set the rest of these clocks to be the correct time and do it and get it the most correct. Because it's said in the rules, it's not necessarily who finishes first, it's whoever finishes most accurately. And we see that play out to varying degrees of success.
Oh god. This challenge is a mess. Specifically, the other important thing about this challenge is that until you get to your puzzle board, you are barred from communicating with your partner, so you can't check when your partner is fully done memorizing.
Yeah. So you can just be sitting there and somebody pulls the cord and you're like, dude, I just got here. What are we doing? Which does happen to Ashley and Dario pretty early on. Ashley said, you know, I told Dario before this challenge I wanted to go fast, but like I didn't even get to look at the fourth clock before he pulled the push the plunger. And I heard that and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like Dario. Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
no, that sounds about right. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But Ashley and Dario do get to the puzzle board first, and then everybody kind of trickles in behind them at different times. And it seems like some of these teams just don't know what kind of puzzle this is, like what they're supposed to be doing. I thought it was pretty clear. They had one clock. It was set to Los Angeles, so
PST.
Pacific. I couldn't remember the name of the damn time zone. So Pacific time. And it's set to, I think, 5 a.m., right? And it's in a white border, right? And it says AM on there. It's an analog clock that says AM. I promise I am correct. And they have this whole thing in a white border. So to me, that's the default. This is the one we don't mess with. This is the one that is just correct. And then all of the other clocks on the answer keys had said plus however many hours off of, assuming Pacific time, that these time zones were. For the love of God, some of these people had no idea what they were looking at. And I was watching this puzzle, and like specifically Melissa and Nicole, y'all, I love you, Melissa and Nicole. You are growing on me this season. Oof.
Bad
time. Bad. It was hard to watch. So then Dario gets this bright idea. Him and Ashley have a decent amount of the clocks done, and he goes, you know what's crazy? I don't think we're going to get anything more right than we have it right now. So what if I press the button, make people panic, and then they're going to press the button? Because if they're not right, they might just smack it because they think somebody's done. I need to hit the button. And I'll be damned if it didn't work.
It worked really well. Literally, Melissa, almost seconds after, smashes the button, and Nicole's like, we were half done. The fuck?
Well, and the thing is, it wasn't just Melissa and Nicole. Literally, almost every other team just presses their button. Because they're like, we need to get through. Only two teams don't. Shannon, Davon, and Veronica and Katie are the only two teams that don't just press their button. And we see what ends up happening is that Shannon, Davon, and Veronica and Katie are the top two teams in this challenge. So I will give this to Dario. It was a good play. Good stuff, Dario.
It was a good play, if only extremely short-sighted because they were not right.
Well, I mean, you know, in the idea of I think I'm going to get in there faster, and if everybody else is just as wrong as I am, I'm going to win. I get where he's coming from. But Veronica and Katie and Shane and Davon were not stopping this challenge until they were 100% correct. Davon's like, I gave him my information. Shane works in his day job. He works with all these different zones across the country. It's his job. He's going to be good at this. I'm going to give him my information and let him do the work.
Good.
As a member of the Church of Davon, one of the commandments is, of course, thou shalt not take credit for something thou did not do. And you know what? Good stuff to Davon here. But then Katie and Veronica are just going, right? Not stopping, not taking a break. They're just putting in these clocks and they're taking their time, But Veronica's like meticulously checking every little thing on these clocks to make sure they're all correct. And it pays off because Katie and Veronica win the daily.
If you genuinely had told me preseason, yeah, Katie and Veronica win a daily, I would have been like,
Katie and Veronica
how?
win a daily before. I'm going to read some of the teams that have not won a daily yet. Okay. Nani and Turbo have not won a daily yet.
Asterisk.
They got fourth in a daily to get a star. They haven't won a daily yet.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Nani and Turbo have not won a daily yet. Ashley and Dario have not won a daily yet. And I'm like, and this is why we need to stop underestimating Veronica on the challenge. No one will ever underestimate Katie. We all love Katie. Katie's great. But like Veronica's a multi-time champ for a reason.
Yes.
She's very good at this game. And even if she may be past her physical prime, she is still a threat. She's incredible. So Katie and Veronica are the winners of this challenge. And then all hell breaks loose.
Oh, God. There, literally everyone immediately goes, well, shit, there goes our primary option. Time to toss Frank and Sam into a blender.
Well, no, and the crazy thing is, it's not even everybody because, Nani and Turbo and Fessy and Amber are like quickly on board, right? Yes. Like, this is what we're doing. We're putting in Frank and Sam. Don't worry about it. Davon and Shane get on board like that.
Like that.
Because Shane is sick of Frank.
And Davon doesn't have any real allegiance to them. So it's like, oh, wow, we agree on a target. Kill them.
So we then get everybody, we get Shane and Davon talking to Melissa and Nicole. And it seems like Melissa and Nicole are on board, right? Or at least Melissa's on board, right? Melissa's like, because Melissa is under the impression that Frank is they. She's correct, by the way. And that Frank is the reason that Big T and Corey went into elimination. She's halfway correct, by the way.
She's basically correct.
Out of the people who are available to target this round, she is correct. So Melissa's like, well, screw it. We'll just put in Frank and Sam. And I'll just speak over Nicole, and that's just going to be what we do. And I'm like, this is the Melissa I love. That's my girl. So then on the other side of things, though, Adam and Steve and Katie and Veronica are, scheming pretty hard here. And they're like, well, why don't we put in two really strong teams, get one of them out, because we have control of who the other vote is. So why don't we put the house vote on Fessy and Amber, get them out. We'll throw in Nani and Turbo, and whichever team stays, and the other team goes home. We got a strong team out before the final.
Mm-hmm.
Can't fault them for the logic.
Yeah, no, it's incredibly smart. And I mean, the teams that aren't like that strong packed need to do this because, I mean, we've had the first 3 rounds of the game pick off. And I'm not saying that I'm going to use weak teams, not because they're bad teams, but because it is comparing Beth and John A to Adam and fucking Steve. Mm-hmm. Like it's a really good plan, especially since they don't have many weak teams left that they can reasonably compete with.
Isn't it crazy that I think Beth and John A, out of the teams that have won against Adam and Steve in elimination, have probably come closest to beating them this season?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, because no shot for Ashley and Anissa. They got blown out. Devin and Leroy a little bit, but not really.
Kind of close, but I mean, the second they got their puzzles, Adam and Steve were done.
Yeah, and then not even going to bring up Kellyanne and Sylvia.
Kellyanne and Sylvia was a poorly designed elimination, and Adam and Steve finished the puzzle first.
Correct, but even then, on top of that, they weren't even. They were behind. So no shit to Kellyanne and Sylvia. Big fan of both of yours.
Bad show.
It happens to everyone. There is a bananas backpack for every situation on the challenge. So we're going into this vote, and it seems like it's gonna be Frank and Sam.
But then we go to the club, surprisingly. Like, going to the club, surprisingly, is the place where we kind of, like, hear, oh shit, we're actually catching this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Katie and Veronica get, like, a perfect sense of, like, everyone's a little too happy. Something is wrong here. Let's force them not to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Veronica does what Veronica does. Because, again, if you have not watched some of her earlier appearances on the challenge where she was frequently in power, or hell, watch her on Dirty 30, because she is great on Dirty 30.
Mm-hmm.
Veronica just goes in and says, okay, here's how it's going to be, Nicole, okay? If your team votes and sends Frank and Sam in, I will be sending you all in with them. Because either what ends up happening is you guys win, okay, well, I guess you won, congratulations. Or Frank and Sam send you home, we don't have to worry about you anymore. We're not doing this traitor mess, any of that. And Veronica plays this political situation borderline masterfully. I cannot fault her.
I literally, like, I cannot fault Veronica's path at all here. Literally going, we have control. You're going to do what we say. And if you don't, you are going to go down in elimination against the person you vote.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, going against Frank and Sam in what eventually would be the challenge here, I think it would have been a fair fight.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Nicole doesn't want to ruffle feathers. Like, specifically, Nicole is like, stay the course. We don't have to do any crazy shit. Let's stay out of drama.
RUSTLE, rustle, like rustling leaves. So ruffle feathers.
Is that not a phrase?
No, ruffle feathers is. But, no.
When you said it, I was like,
okay. Anytime someone says rustle feathers, I think of that one moment from Blood versus Water where Hayden says rustle feathers, and then Tyson goes ruffle. It's like, what? It's like in the middle of this big speech, and then Tyson goes, you said Russell Feathers. It's Ruffle Feathers. And then Tyson's like, Russell's a first name. And then Hayden goes, RUSTLE, like rustling leaves. And also Russell Feathers. It is the dumb. I'm sorry. You piqued the tism there for a second, Jack. My apologies.
Good, because if I had known it, I would have done the exact same fucking thing.
Just rewatch Blood versus Water. It's a great season. Beside the point. So we're going into this house vote, right? And it seems like, even to me, because the last thing we see is Melissa saying, I'm just going to talk over Nicole and I'm going to vote for Frank and Sam. It seemed to me like Frank and Sam were going in. Was that the perspective you had?
No, okay. I mean, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, wow, okay, Nicole's just going to Melissa's just going to fuck over her partner. Okay, sure. Bad idea, because you two were already fighting this episode about not seeing the same way, so... That's going to do great things for your partnership.
Yeah.
But,
well, speaking of fightings, it's time for a challenge fight. So, with the challenge fight here, we have in one corner Amber, part of Team Amber and Fessy, fighting against Frank, part of Team Frank and Sam, otherwise known as they. So, Amber comes into the ring. Everybody's, sitting in the little lounge area in this nice little L shape. TJ's like, okay, let's go ahead and get started with the vote. And Amber's like, no, I have something I want to say first. And here we go. Amber goes, I figured out who they is. They is Frank. Frank starts trying to interrupt Amber. Amber keeps talking over him and is like, you're the one that's been doing all this political maneuvering. You're the reason people have been going home every week. And I mean, again, scary accurate read on the game by Amber.
Very accurate. But Frank knows how to go, no, no. That's not how it's worked. And everyone just goes, okay.
Mm-hmm. And we get this back and forth interplay between Amber and Frank for a bit. And then it kind of just ends. And then the votes start coming in. 1 vote for Frank and Sam, a vote for Amber and Fessy, a vote for Frank and Sam, a vote for Amber and Fessy. We then get Devon saying, we heard that Frank was going to be manipulating the votes to get us sent in, so we're going to be voting for Frank and Sam. And Frank tries to shut that down immediately. And Devon doesn't even engage in the argument, but Shane does. And I'm like, Shane, shut up. Stop talking. But then we get and also Ashley and Dario have been completely out of the loop on this entire situation. So, but apparently we know that Ashley is close to Frank and Sam, so they vote for Amber and Fessy. And then it gets down to Nicole and Melissa. And Melissa starts talking. And I'm like, yes, do it, Melissa. Make me have more drama, please. And then Melissa takes a pause and Nicole goes, we're putting in Amber and Fessy. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so Amber, and then Melissa doesn't disagree with her. So Fessy and Amber are the House nominees here. I will say, as someone who is not a huge fan of Fessy, I love Amber, not a huge fan of Fessy, I was kind of bummed by this. Because I think seeing Sam and Frank in elimination would have made this season so entertaining. This episode would have been an all-timer for me. How do you feel about that, Jack?
I mean, I think it is entertaining to see Frank and Sam in an elimination because I think immediately it would have been. I mean, I think it genuinely would have been. It would have been Katie and Veronica saying, "We told y'all this would happen. You're going in. You've now selected your opponent." And at that point, with this specific elimination, this whole time, there's been no contact, there's no nothing. But this elimination in particular is so even that I could genuinely see it going either way. It would genuinely be a really good nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not mad at it because this piled into the next episode of, we're really needing to play the middle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And we even get a pull away afterwards, after they cast their votes, of Nicole basically pulling Melissa aside before the vote and going, I am not voting for Frank and Sam. We need to stay the course. I'm not siding with Frank. I'm not going to fuck over my friends right now. So you're going to do what we say.
Mm-hmm.
And Melissa very much backs off.
Which kind of bummed me out again, though, because as much as I have been very happy that Melissa has been doing well in this season, her and Nicole have not had their name thrown out much, and it has been relatively good for them staying the course. I think this was the opportunity to make that move. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Because this was also the tease the entire episode. It was literally if Fessy and Amber went in, they were going to send in Nani and Turbo against them. Nani and Turbo are the other team in the jungle this week, where we're playing Scratch Off. Lame jungle. Lame.
This is genuinely, this could have been just throw them the puzzle. Because
it pretty much should have been. And because also this puzzle was not hard.
This puzzle was not hard. There wasn't multiple ways to do it, and that's why they needed to do scratching. This puzzle was very clear. It was a pyramid shape. There were pieces on multiple people. Genuinely, what they should have done is have the exact same puzzle.
They did have the same puzzle.
No, have the same pyramid style puzzle that they did, but only have the faces removed. Because then the scratch off is actually relevant versus, you can kind of see a guide that you don't need for this puzzle. Make the scratch off relevant during it.
Yeah, so the way this jungle works, pretty simple. Both teams have a giant scratch ticket, basically like a scratcher lottery ticket. They have to scratch it off to reveal this picture to help assemble their puzzle. The picture is literally just the cast photo of the season.
Not even. It is. It literally is just faces of the cast put onto a generic photo. Like,
didn't realize that.
They were absolutely not in a full pyramid. Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was not even like good art.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's literally just scratch this off to get the picture you need to make with this puzzle that has has square pieces, not even like fun jigsaw pieces. Like, it's literally just a square puzzle. This was so boring. I'm so sorry.
So boring.
Like,
and
honestly, I have nothing to talk about here. Quite frankly, do you?
No, because there was nothing to talk about. Nani and Turbo just smashed the puzzle.
Yeah, Turbo eats it up. Nani eats it up. They send home Fessy and Amber.
Oh no.
Oh well, I mean, like, because at this point, and no shade to Fessy and Amber here, this is literally just, what do I talk about? Because there was nothing of note in this elimination.
No one made any bad calls. It was literally just, you gave Turbo a puzzle.
Yeah, that's not a good decision typically. So we lose Fessy and Amber here. Not thrilled, because I will say Amber is one of my favorite people that stays on the challenge nowadays. Fessy didn't do anything to annoy me this season, so I'll give him that too. But it was just kind of a ho-hum kind of episode here, for them, specifically for them.
Yeah.
So we go into episode 8. With the end of episode 7, in the last little bit of confessional time, Frank owns up to being they in confessional. We know, bud. We've been watching the show.
We've been aware.
Tamar, do you watch the show? But we go into episode 8. Like I said, we just lost Fessy and Amber. And I thought we were going to get more fallout from that. But instead, the drama that starts our next challenge fight is apparently Turbo has been sleeping in the living room instead of in one of the bedrooms. This is now the impetus for a fight on the challenge.
I'm so lost. Like, this is such a weird issue of just Turbo is sleeping in a common area. And Turbo is getting upset that people are using a common area for the purposes of a common area instead of his bedroom. What?
And like, I can't remember who said it, but somebody brought it up, and they're like, literally, half the house is gone now. There are empty bedrooms in here. If he wants to sleep by himself, there are empty bedrooms.
I want to say it was either Adam or Steven.
I think it was Adam. But and then Turbo starts ranting about how Adam is gross and like farting in public and like leaving his dirty plates around everywhere in the living room. I'm like, that's a separate issue. We are conflating issues here, because it starts with Turbo telling Adam not to leave his plate on the couch, blah 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 blah, super early in the morning, right? And they start going back and forth, and Nani's like, no, we are not doing this. Shut up. And then Melissa gets involved, kind of because Turbo starts chirping back at Nani, and Melissa's trying to defend her friend, and then things go back and forth, and it basically ends up with Turbo and Nani are not speaking to each other. Melissa is pissed at Turbo. Adam is somehow forgotten in this entire conversation. And it kind of just amounts to, Turbo is not exactly the most liked person by most of the house at this point.
Yeah.
Or at least by those people in the house.
I, like, genuinely, Turbo is a great competitor, and we've seen all of that. It's just the fact that he has to talk to other people that makes him miserable. Like, literally any single time you can think of Turbo being an issue on the challenge, it is literally just he had to compromise in a social situation.
Mm-hmm. Turbo needs to know when to be quiet.
But of course, that is not something he is willing to understand. So it is that's the part where I'm like, Oh yeah, Turbo has. I don't remember why we don't really see Turbo. There we go. Just
Yeah.
randomly attacking people and
Mm-hmm.
being a nuisance.
So yeah, we then go into your daily, which is called Shooting for the Star for some reason. And basically, it is a very quick, very nothing burger of a daily to me.
They had a set piece and then went, shit, this set piece literally takes 5 seconds. We need something before it that won't really cost us anything.
Yeah, it's kind of what it amounted to. So we have this 12 piece, not even 12, 11 piece flow puzzle that has one of the squares blocked off. Like you have to put a blank square on the board so you can complete this puzzle. And then once you finish the flow puzzle, you hop on a four-wheeler and you just drive as fast as you can and then jump off to try to grab this star that's hanging in midair. No, you don't have to grab it. You just have to touch it. Touch the star. And then the four-wheeler falls into this river lake thing. I wonder how much money they spent on losing all these four-wheelers. That's what I'm wondering.
Honestly, I think it was genuinely like one or two, and they were like, okay, if we drop this off a cliff like 5 times, does it break? No? Great, that's the one. And they probably have like 2 or 3 on the side.
Yeah, but we saw these shots of all of these ATVs just being in the water after people were done with their jumps. But yeah, so very quick. Almost every round here is super quick. It's kind of hard to just talk about the teams that did well. The only team that really struggled here was Melissa and Nicole because they cannot solve this puzzle to save their lives. I worry about them in a final. But everybody does pretty well except for them, and then Katie and Veronica. As much as I love you, both of you, they don't have the hops to grab the star off the ATV. Completely miss it. Not even literally in the ballpark of getting it.
We see them go for it, and we see the star, and they are not even in frame. Like they're a good like 2 feet below the star by the time they get it. Where everyone else's ATV goes into the water, theirs hits the side of the cliff.
Like rolls down the cliff. And on top of that too, I don't know why they had Veronica in front. No shady Veronica. Girl is short, right? Katie's like relatively tall. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it was the idea of Katie would not drive the ATV, but like,
yeah,
not even close. We also get this really funny confessional of Katie says, "I'm going to do this for my daughter," and like talking about like their family motto and all this other stuff. And then it goes, and then it plays the music in the background when they miss the star, and I'm like, that's kind of shady, but I'm here for it.
You know what? It's a personal victory. We don't have a chance at winning now, but it's personal.
But I jumped off this cliff kind of with a harness on. But yeah, so Shane and Davon do very well here. Adam and Steve do very well here. Basically, every team other than the two I just said did very well here. Dario and Ashley did great. Nani and Turbo did great. But the team that wins the daily, apparently by seconds, was Adam and Steve.
Yeah. I mean, Nani and Turbo smashed the puzzle in what we see is like 45 seconds. But Steve and Adam just genuinely get it faster.
Mm-hmm.
So, great. Adam and Steve can't be thrown in again. And everyone else looks at the other 3 star holders and goes, 2 of you are going in, by the way. We're not risking this shit. There's not a lot of us left.
Yeah.
We don't know when this journey ends.
Yeah, and we get this really fun moment here from Adam and Steve. We're like, look, we're aligned with a pair of star holders, but they sent us into elimination 4 times. Maybe we'll send them in 2. And I'm like, yes, acknowledge it. Drink their blood. I love Frank. Love Sam. Big fan of both of them. But it would be so satisfying for me to see them in elimination at this point. They've been so good, but I just want to see Frank have to sweat a little bit because he's been so comfortable this season. But we then get yet another challenge fight during the strategizing for this round. Now, this will also happen a little bit before and a little bit after the house vote, so don't be surprised when we come back to the challenge fight after the house vote. So it basically comes down to, well, are we going to be voting in Ashley and Dario or Nani and Turbo? Is kind of just what it comes down to, because there's not enough votes to put Frank and Sam in through the House vote, pretty much. It's just where we get to. There is like a brief tease of that, but they just don't have the numbers to do it. So what ends up happening is Shane, playing the middle, staying out of the drama, Shane decides, no, I'm going to get all involved in the drama. I will be the drama for the episode. And Shane starts going in on Frank. And they get into a bit of a scuffle before the vote. And then during the vote, we get this lovely moment where Shane says, this entire round I've been trying to keep your name out of the bottom, Frank. And everyone's like, Shane, no, don't do that. Don't lie. That's not true. Now, Shane has not actively been trying to put Frank in the bottom this round either, but no, Shane, that one's way too obvious. So we get that. Also, by the way, the House vote was Ashley and Dario, just for the record.
It happens. I mean, the only thing of interest is that Ashley K and Dario throw Nani and Turbo, and Frank and Sam are like, we're the last vote. It genuinely doesn't matter. We're voting ourselves.
Petty. So then, but back to the challenge fight, we then get one of my favorite moments of the entire season to this point, where Sam and Frank, Sam is saying Frank is being used as the scapegoat. Frank isn't doing all these things. Frank is doing these things. Sam is just doing them behind your back. Frank corners Shane in one of the bedrooms and is like, why are you so obsessed with me? Why can't you keep my name out of your mouth? All this other stuff. And Shane says, you're the one queening out right now. Never underestimate the power of a gay. I'm just saying.
When the gays fight, the things happen and we just have to accept it.
Shane, I got to give you your 8s because you ate. You did great there. 10 out of 10. Good job, Shane. But no, Shane's like, you're the one queening out right now. And Shane goes like, me, love me. And then Frank says, are you mocking me? And Shane's like, yes, because you're very mockable. I'm like, okay, that wasn't as cute, but it was funny. It was very fun stuff, and yet another reason why this season has been great. The strategy here kind of just comes down to which of the two star teams are voting in. It wasn't very interesting.
I will also note, this whole time in the background, Melissa has basically been like, hey, Nicole, can I go fuck with Turbo? Like, I'm annoyed about what he did. Can I fuck with Turbo? And Nicole's like, I swear to fucking God, do not. It's not worth it. We don't need him pissed at us. Yeah. And I mean, they have this whole fight about like Mel going, I'm going to leave fruit by his bed intentionally.
Well, that was more of Nicole. It was like them beginning into like a petty like joke about it until later in the episode, right? Turbo and Nani I think it's at the club. Turbo and Nani are just chilling at the club, and Melissa goes to talk to Turbo at the club. And we then get yet another challenge fight. Where Melissa starts out very respectful. She's like, this is why I was upset. You were saying these things at my friend, but also you're trying to sleep in a communal area. Like, it's disrespectful. And then Turbo just refuses to even remotely see anyone else's perspective on this issue. And then Melissa starts getting loud, and Nani's like, Melissa, just go. We don't need this right now. He's not going to listen to you. Just go away. This is not going to help. It was a very quick challenge fight, but it was a very entertaining challenge fight. So thank you very much. And then Melissa gets the last word in by leaving a dirty plate on the couch near Turbo while he's sleeping.
I mean, why not? Why not? It's just funny at that point.
She ate. No crumbs. So we then go to the jungle, where it was basically the choice of, are Adam and Steve going to send in Frank and Sam or Nani and Turbo? And we see this back and forth action between them of like, look, we might send them in. Because, one, they sent us in 4 times. We don't have a reason not to. Nani and Turbo are a stronger team. But, like, Frank and Sam don't have any loyalty to us. They've shown us that time and time again. And Shane tries his damnedest here.
He really goes for it. But it does not work.
Yeah. Nani and Turbo, once again, chosen by the winners to go into elimination this week. And the challenge, the jungle is called Hold Up. It's nowhere near as interesting as it sounds. What is it with these jungles? Because honestly, with these challenges, because I am a puzzle fan, I like me a good puzzle, but we have had 3 straight challenges that were literally do a puzzle, do something, or do something, do a puzzle. And one could argue that it's been 4 straight challenges because the first daily was the one with the clocks and the plungers and stuff. So one could make an argument that we've just been getting a lot of puzzles these past 2 episodes.
I think the genuine issue is that they have run out of interesting things to do that can be done favorably by everyone else, because at some point you can see almost directly where they want a physical elimination or like a really hard strength-based elimination, but they can't do it because they need to be equitable between giant male teams and some female teams. Like, unfortunately, this is what we get.
Yeah, this has been one of my biggest critiques of the season on the whole, is that while these competitions have felt equitable, they have not been equitable and entertaining. A lot of them.
Yes.
Because something that I really I'm going to take a minute to praise another Paramount show here. This past season of Big Brother 26, did a fantastic job at making equitable comps that anybody could win that were also entertaining, right? Now, granted, there is going to be a little bit more of like a carnival game aesthetic to Big Brother. That's kind of what it's always been. But like some of the most famous challenges, period, are the carnival game stuff. So like I would have loved to have seen a bit more of like inspiration taken from Big Brother here, because they're kind of famous for doing equitable comps. Maybe not always, but they've always had some to some extent.
Yeah, this season was just...
Imagine the challenge doing OTEV, but as a daily. And with
Jail.
6 teams. No, like the challenge doing OTEV with like 6 teams, right? And it's like trivia. So TJ gets his trivia comp every year, like he does every year, right? But then instead of, running up a waterfall, it's like you have to you run up this platform, and then if you get it wrong, or you're like the last team out, a trap door drops, so you still have to drop through a platform. So TJ gets it to drop you off for being bad at trivia. Like everyone wins.
Everyone does win in that case, but it's
Except
still like,
which is the fun part.
It's still questionable. Where it's just like, oh, yeah, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like, definitely, if they would basically just have to theme it to where it makes sense again.
So we then go to the actual jungle, which is called Hold Up. It is so effing boring. So one player has this big like T-bar. They pull down on the T-bar. It keeps a table level. Their partner has to go grab these little pieces that make a star shape. I wonder why. And it's basically a tangrams puzzle with an extra
tangrams puzzle with some extra theming.
Yeah. Every 3 minutes, the person holding the T-bar and the person solving the puzzle have to switch. Problem being that they have to just drop the puzzle and all of the progress gets lost. And they basically have a 3-minute clock to solve this puzzle. Now, I will say, the perk of this is that if you do solve part of the puzzle, you already have that in your bank. So you can kind of like just put it back in. So you get a little bit of extra information every time. Not that it mattered too much, to be honest with you.
It really did not matter at all.
Tell me if you've heard this story before. Nani and Turbo win a puzzle elimination because Turbo's really good at puzzles, and Ashley and Dario are out.
Oh my fucking god!
And like Ashley known for being good at puzzles. Like, she is very good at puzzles, right? Probably top 10 puzzler in the history of the show. I would give her that title. Turbo is top 2, and I think the only person in the history of this show that is actively better at solving puzzles than Turbo is Ashley Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. Ashley Kelsey, she is a great puzzler. She is very good at what she does. But he solved this Tangram puzzle in like a minute and a half.
Yeah, no, it was very fast.
Mm-hmm. Like Turbo, and part of the reason I think he didn't solve it in the first round because he had to go run and grab all the pieces and then come back and put the puzzle together. I think he could have solved it on the first clock if all the pieces were just right by the board. But yeah, so we lose Ashley and Dario, which means we have lost yet another team with a star. So this next daily on next week's episode will be for a star. Jack, who do you want to win that daily? Who do you want to get that star?
Okay, so our 3 options here specifically, just to make it clear, are Katie and Veronica. Oh god. See, now my brain just fried.
Katie and Veronica.
Katie, Veronica,
Shane and Davon, Melissa and Nicole.
Shane and Davon. I mean, is that
absolutely?
Yeah, no, I mean,
as proud members of the Church of Davon.
Yeah, no, it kind of has to be.
I want it to be Shane and Davon so badly. If it is somehow Melissa and Nicole, I would think it's hysterical because nobody in their right mind is going to throw them in an elimination if they get a star. So Melissa and Nicole, if they win this daily and get a star, they're going to the final. Like that, they have just
they're actually. I feel like
the only people that would throw them into elimination are Shane and Davon.
If they get a star, they could easily be thrown in against like Frank and Sam to be like, let's free up a star.
Well, no, but like they wouldn't throw in Frank and Sam though, right? Unless it is like if Adam and Steve win a daily next week, right? Win the daily next week. I think they're throwing in Frank and Sam with Nani and Turbo, sending one of those 2 teams out because who in their right mind is threatened by Melissa and Nicole? I love Melissa down, love her always, big fan. And Nicole, like I said, is growing on me on this season. But they're not going to win the final more than likely. Yeah. Nicole has a terrible track record in finals. Melissa has only been in one final. If I remember correctly, she got last. So, like, now granted, most of the time when Nicole makes it to a final, she gets injured. But, like, you know, statistically.
You're right.
So they don't have a good track record in finals, either of them. Versus Nani and Turbo, where Turbo won his first final. Nani's never won, but she's gotten second a bunch of times in finals, right? And then Frank and Sam, where Frank is probably, outside of Adam and Steve, the most physically gifted person in this house. And Sam is very good at a bunch of random things. And you never know what you're going to be getting out of the finals. So, I mean, they're both a big threat in a final. If Davon and Shane win that star, I could see them going into elimination because I think that they are more of a threat to Adam and Steve than Sam and Frank are, probably. So I'm kind of hoping it's Melissa and Nicole. I think that would be very fun.
I think that might be the right option, but
it would be I don't know what the right option is. I just for the long-term success of the Church of Davon on this season, I need her here. So but yeah, so we're going to find out who is going to be getting that 4th star, taking Ashley and Dario's star. But before we head out, it's time for a draft update.
Yay!
Draft update. So Lana and I, going into this episode, were tied. We both had 4 teams each. However, after this episode, Team Brook has pulled into a resounding lead of 4 teams versus Lana's 2 teams. So,
oh my god.
Lana only has Nani and Turbo and Frank and Sam left on her draft team. I have Shane and Davon, Adam and Steve, Melissa and Nicole, and Katie and Veronica left on my team. So I'm just saying, Team Brook is looking good at the moment. We are in a advantageous position moving towards the end of this game. Jack's team got eliminated in the first week because he got the leftovers.
Yeah, I got Beth and
Beth and
Jade, which was never going to happen. Simply put, I was never
Okay,
going to win that.
also, speaking of Beth and Jade, it reminded me. It was nice to see both of the two teams that got eliminated this week, Fessy and Amber, and Ashley and Dario kind of fix their relationships a little bit.
Yeah, it was.
Especially Ashley and Dario, because like Fessy and Amber, that was always just because Fessy didn't care to get to know Amber, and now he had to, and now they're friends. Ashley and Dario, that is like years of hurt between the two of them, and I'm really glad that they were able to mend that fence.
At least we had something good come out of the season, because God did so many bad, like the mess of this season and the boringness of it. At least in this back half, we've had groups come together and be like, you know what, we're friends now.
Well, honestly, Devin and Leroy were never not friends. I don't know why they were partners on this season, to be honest with you.
100% a team fell through last minute and they were like, fuck, who can we call?
This should have been Leroy and Wes, and you cannot convince me otherwise. But yeah, like honestly, like why were they partners? But beside the point, it's nice seeing some teams actually repair their relationships. However, we still have half the competition left in terms of teams. Probably only a few more eliminations, because we know at least 4 teams are going to be attempting to run the final. So we're going to see how that turns out. Let us know down in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win Challenge All-Stars? Why is it Beth and John A coming back in a surprise return to win the competition? Let us know down below.
That's definitely the most reasonable option.
I think it's entirely reasonable. I mean, John A's won 2 seasons of All-Stars already. She could win a third one.
She can win a third one with a weight attached directly to her leg.
Yeah, literally. But let us know who you guys think is going to win down below. What do you think of the season as a whole? Do you find these last few episodes enough to save the boring mess that we got for the first 5? Let us know
my God.
Below. Do you think we will see Adam and Steve in another elimination before the end of the season? Let us know in the comments down below. If they go in one more time, they will tie the all-time elimination record at 5. So we'll see it. Maybe. I hope we don't, to be honest with you. I feel bad.
I feel horrible. It's bad seeing them thrown in time after time after time after time.
They are 4 for 7 right now. That's absurd.
It is.
But yeah, let us know below. What are you guys thinking? Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And I know Lana would want me to say that and just remind you all, but we're getting you a lot of content coming out here on the Cup TV, covering a bunch of stuff with more stuff coming on the way. So make sure you guys subscribe, because you stayed this long, which means you kind of like at least Jack and I. So there's that. And of course, follow us on socials at The Cup Pod. Jack and I's social links are also down below as well. Buy your merch, including but not limited to cup mug. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you guys for tuning in, but we must head out. So stop watching this video and go watch another one. I don't care if that's another channel. Sign off. That's the one I'm using.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.